Well, that's a great way to start this stream with my electronic voice assistant going filter low. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. It's a wonderful evening, and this is Mournful Gaming. I am Smart Pig, and I am playing some more Stationeers. We are back on our lunar base that we just got barely to habitable-ish. Got our battery charging. We've got our filter or our solar panels running. Wrong key combination there. There we go. We are here. When we last left off, I just literally got the solar power running, and it is now time. It is now time to get our water set up. Because we're going to get thirsty soon, and we don't have as much water as we have food. Well, we have got plenty of water in here, but we don't have as much. We don't have usable water. Wrong one. Where is the one with scrubber? Ah, portables connector. All right. So this is the front. This is the front of the. You put something into it. This is the front. The dial faces towards you when you orient it like this. Excuse me a moment. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. So we're going to put it right there. Slap this guy on top. Come on, don't fight with me here. Get. Use a wrench to attach. Voila. It's attached. We got 90 liters of water in there. That should hold us out for a little while. We're going to toss this over in the corner because we're also going to be working on our gases today for our oxygen and breathing and stuff. Oh, it's going to be a fun day. All right. And liquid pipes. So what we're trying to set up is basically just getting this guy set up and getting ready for doing plants and things like that. So we're going to put the bottle filler there. Yep, that'll do. Put it right there. Alright, so a big distinction to note. You have gas pipes and you have liquid pipes. These are liquid pipes. It can hold liquid. It can hold a very small amount of gas. It doesn't want to hold a lot of gas. If it does hold a lot of gas, things break. Try not to put gas in here if you can help it. Now you can, if you're trying to pressurize a liquid, like a gas that's normally a liquid, but normally a gas and then turns into a liquid at higher pressures, you can use nitrogen to pressurize the liquid. But it still doesn't like that the nitrogen is in there. You put nothing but gas in there and things just don't like it. These portable connectors, they've got two ports. You got a liquid port and you got a gas port. So you can use the same connector for your liquids as you do for your gas. We're not worried about the gas right now. We'll explain that a little bit more later. The gas pipes, well, they just flat out start breaking when there's liquid in them. Like, flat out. They just start breaking when there's liquid in them. Whereas liquid pipes, I don't believe they break unless you end up with a solid in them. So, yeah, there's that. So, that's our bottle filler. We use that to fill these little bastards. Oh. Perfect timing for that. That's food. Survival supplies. I think we've got a box. Water. Delicious, delicious water. Yeah. Put that that box in there. We shouldn't need to drink any more of those. So, we have our bottle filler, but that needs power. And for power, we need one of these. We've got one around here somewhere. Pretty sure. Oh, I know what. It's up on the roof. Let's see what this one is actually powering. I think it's only powering the furnace, and we don't need it to power the furnace anymore. Because we have a regular. We have one of those. Ah, the portable generator. And then these guys. So we're actually going to just split these off. Tie them into the main network. We're probably going to get rid of them eventually. Because they're really just taking up space. They're not helping us anything, really. It's a very tiny amount. For a very short period of time. So we're just going to reclaim the cable that's in them. Jetpack critical. That's not good. I wanted to save that jetpack a little bit more. That's okay. We have ladders. Just gonna reclaim all of this cable. Well, I probably could have left that where it was, but anyways. Grab. Ooh, that airflow spooked me for a second. I was like, oh, that's not... Where did my... How am I missing a battery right now? All right. Here's power coming in. We're just gonna swap you, and then you can go in there and power you on. Close that. This is just an area power controller. This is just so that this area has its own backup battery in case this battery goes bad. And I can shut this area off if I wanted to. Completely isolate it. Where did you come from anyways? Anywho. And you, I want to put right there's fine. We're going to start using you. Whoops. You go in there, power on. Look at that, and the battery's charging. Okay, so we need to connect two things. One, we got to connect up over there, and we got to connect into this line here. We're going to cut that off. Bring you over. We're just going to branch off of... We've already got power run over this way. We don't need to run it from over there. We can run it from right here. At least temporarily. all of this is going to be subject to change. We are not putting anything permanent in place. Except that APC. That APC staying there. That is our only permanent fixture in this room. And voila. We are powered. And to make sure, we're going to grab 2 bottles from over here. Look at that, they're filling. There we go. That's water temporarily sorted. We're also going to go ahead and get our gas set up. Gas right next to it. For the shits and grins. Waste tank caution.
Hunger caution.
Open. Looks like we need to open our helmet for one. We'll go ahead and refill you. We could technically just keep filling from this as long as we wanted, but we couldn't, well, until it ran out. But as it goes down, you get less and less pressure into the bottle, because this bottle going into this canister only equalizes the pressure between the bottle and the canister. There's a better way. So we're going to grab our gas pipe from over here. We're just going to put that right there. We've got a utility around here somewhere. I expect. Could be wrong, though. There's a liquid utility. That's just a tank. And I'm wondering if I have to print a utility. I might have to print a utility. That's okay. Got iron. Got a hydraulic pipe bender. Yes. Utility pipe. Utility gas. One of them out. Poof. Now we can fill our tank, but not quite. We don't actually have enough room to put ourselves a volume pump. So we're going to move you out one. Put a volume pump there. And that needs gold and copper as well. Fairly certain I've got all those ingredients around, floating around here. Yes. Not a lot of gold right now. We can fix that late in a few minutes. Print that out. And because we're aware of it. So, we're going to store the green tank for now, because that's nitrogen. Right? And then power. You know, I could probably get rid of some cables by doing this. Like I said, everything is temporary. Everything in this room is temporary. Something to note. You cannot have cable and pipe occupying the same space the exact same way. So, like, I can have cable joining in the same little square like this, or, you know, like this, but I can't have it join in like that because it's taking the same space as the pipe, and I can't have it going in like that because it's taking the same space as the pipe. However, they can cross over each other, no problem. As long as they're not going in the same direction, they're fine. They can occupy the same space. But as soon as they're trying to occupy the exact same space, doesn't work. So you got to be cognizant of that when you're actually laying out the base. So now we have a way to fill our tanks to the exact pressure we want them filled to. Where did that? There you are. So hello. 0, 3, it's 1 meg, 2 meg, 3 meg, 4 meg, 5.5. Boom. We have jetpack fuel again. As you can see, that took some of our stuff. We're going to have to replenish that eventually. And that is what we're going to start working on next. We need to be able to replenish our water and replenish our gas eventually. But for now, it's time to go mining. Well, first, actually, for now, we need to eat something because we're getting hungry. Well, hello there. So I believe the sun is still up, but it might be going down soon. Ah, hell. I forgot to power that guy back up. Cable back. Thank you. It will auto snap to a device and won't snap away from it. So that solar panel on the outside, making it so it didn't want to snap closed. So, say keep our precious atmosphere inside, and the sun is going down. Damn it. There's our lander. Oh, our battery died on our tracking beacon. That's okay, we can ping off of our lander. Now the hunt for some more gold. Which, if I remember right, this crater has a lot of gold in it. Ooh, iron. Ooh, silicon. Don't want either of those right now. We want gold. We want to get at least 2 stacks of it, because we're going to be using a lot of it. And I failed to look for it while it was daylight, so I have to deal with looking for it in the dark again. More silicon. We're going to need that soon. Not right now. Right now we need gold. We're almost completely out of gold. This is the big crater wall. Eventually we will climb our way out of here to look for more resources. But for right now, I don't want to do it. It's everywhere when you don't want it, but it's nowhere when you do want it. It's like cats. When you want their attention, you want to play with them, nowhere to be found. But when you don't want their attention and you don't want them to play with you, that's all they want. Is that all the gold? Okay, I was about to get a little irritated. Sorry about that. I just about died. You know what? I wonder, what's faster? The basic mining drill or the pick? Seem to be about the same speed. Alright, I think this vein is mined out. Jesus Christ, have I been muted this entire fucking time? I muted for a cough and it never came unmuted. Going back to that, congratulations on reaching the subscribe tier 2, Hale, for your subscription of 10 months. Thank you very much for your patronage. Yeah, I muted the mic because I went through a coughing fit, and I guess the button didn't react when I pressed it. So let me go ahead and explain this logic here really quick. The filter on the atmospherics is constantly on. So if you just leave it alone and not do anything, it's constantly going to be drawing the maximum amount of power, trying to filter whatever is in the gases being pulled in on the input. What this program does is it actually looks at the filters being put into the input and makes it so that it goes idle when it doesn't have the mole count that it's looking for of the material that you're trying to filter out. So it's got the filter as the main housing, it's got a pump that you can hook up to it, and then it's got a diode that you can hook up to it. The diode tells you what the filter levels are. Here's the whole thing with it. Start and yield. What yield does is it makes it pause for a tick. This is simply to save resources on your computer, because this is constantly running in the background, right? So, loads from slot 1, it's a 0, the quantity in the filter. Load slot 1 or 2, quantity of the filter. Adds them both together, divides by 2, and then divides again by 100, and that's the percentage of your total filter left. Okay? And then this command here, this looks to see if there is a diode even put in. If there is not a diode, it skips this line, or else it will error out. If you do not have this there, it will cause an error because it's trying to set something that isn't set up. So, next group of code. This is checking how much of the mold that you want. You can change it for the element that you want. In this case, it is oxygen at the input. The ratio of oxygen at the input. That gives you the percent of the gases at the input is moles. And then, so you got the total, and it gives you the percent of what it is at the input that is what you're looking for. Then you do the total moles input. And then you multiply this number times this number, which gives you the actual moles, because the ratio comes in a decimal point. So if it's 65% oxygen, it's going to return a 0.65. And then the total moles times 0.65 is how many moles of oxygen is in there. So you have up here, I have my maximum amount of moles that I want, and then the minimum amount of moles that I want, and I control with what setting it's in based off of a simple Schweitz switch, I believe it's called. So if the amount of moles is greater than our maximum, it turns the filter on, the mode of the filter to active. Okay? And then it'll fall all the way down to below 4, and then it'll, at the next one, if it's less than that, it'll set the mode inactive, as well as the pump inactive. We're going to do this. Branch RDNS. Pump. Branch relative. One line. So we're going to skip this line. Sorry, we're going to skip this line. So 1, 2. Okay, we're going to do the same thing over here, because I don't have a pump hooked up to it. Branch RDNS pump 2. So if this isn't working, if there's no pump actually hooked up to it, it will still change the mode, and you don't have to do very much changing whatsoever. You just have to change which element you're actually looking for. And if you want different settings, different total mole count, You can change that too. It's very plug and play. It's very simple. I don't know why that's there. Confirm. Now we're going to let that finish printing out. While we're letting that print out, we're going to eat food. Comment is closed. We're going to drink some water. We're going to pick up the chip that we want. Just because the chip is in the thing doesn't mean that it's editing the thing. You have to hit export into the chip, or else it doesn't want to work. Plug that in. Power on. And it is now idle. Which is exactly what we wanted. Last thing that we need a cowl, a pipe cowl, or you could do a passive vent if you wanted to, but I prefer to do cowls when it doesn't matter if it's attached to something or not. There we go. Our super basic setup is done. There. Now, we can take this, throw it in there. It's going to heat it up to 288 degrees Kelvin, which is roughly 20 degrees, 20 to 25 degrees, somewhere in there. I think. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's about 12 degrees Celsius. It actually says in gray next to the temperature. We're still idle. Oh, we just went active because the total moles of oxygen in this pipe here went high enough so this guy to go active. This guy's going to keep churning things out. Look at that. We're pumping out oxygen. We can do the same thing with water. So the water ice has a little bit of nitrogen in it. We put it in there, dumps the liquid in there, and then the nitrogen comes out here. We don't want the nitrogen, so it's fine. That being said, let's do two things. We're going to get some more oxygen ice, and we're going to get some silicon. We're going to need that very soon. There's a lot of iron right there in there. There's some oxygen ice right there. Is that silver? That's silver. Okay. Now, I don't need a whole lot of this. I just need enough to run my furnace as well as pump oxygen into my base. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our food sort of semi-squared away. We're going to do that before we start expanding the base and specializing rooms. That's how I do things. I like to compartmentalize and separate purpose by room. That way, if I have an industrial accident, I can close it off from the rest of my base. Call me paranoid. Or call me experienced. Apparently, I didn't eat enough. I might be experienced, but that doesn't make me smart. Single stack of 50 should be enough to get oxygen, enough oxygen in that tank for now. We also want to get some water ice. We're probably going to be living off of that portable water tank for a little while. You don't use nearly as much water as you think you do. At least in this game. You use a lot more water in real life than you do. Okay, that was a little bit more oxygen ice than I was intending, but okay. Is that water ice or is that silicon? I think that's silicon. My lamp is on. Put you there. That's silicon. There's some water ice right there. One could argue that experience would also give you smarts. One could argue, but they would be wrong. As clearly exemplified by me. Because I still do dumb stuff all the time in this game. Like blowing up a gas tank because I forgot to plug in a safety to account for certain things that causes a gas tank to explode and almost destroy my entire smelting area. Well, 37 chunks should be fine. Alright. Look at that. We mine during the day for once. You're entitled to your own wrong opinion. Yes, you are, Hale. You are entitled to your own wrong opinion. My opinion, however, is not opinion. It is fact. More water ice. Might as well. And uncover the rest of it, just so it can be found again. Cite my sources. No. That would require for me to care enough to actually have sources. You got a source for that opinion there, bud? Yeah, it's called my brain. And thinking about everything that I've done. And still the simple fact that I do dumb things despite being a quote-unquote smart person with a lot of experience. Alright, we're going to slap the water in there first, because that's going to go slowest, or the fastest. While that's churning away, we're going to go ahead and put food in the stomach of my character, avatar, whatever you want to call it. If you're old school, you call it an avatar. If you're new school, you call it character, I guess. I don't know what they call it nowadays. Toon, that's what they call it. Your toon. Or did they call it that 10 years ago? I don't know. I'm fucking old. Yay, food. Our liters are going up. Our gas pressure is not going up. At the same time, we have to be worried about the simple fact that we're going to need insulation soon. Are you still at 26? Okay, so we're going to start planning the next room. While we wait. Now, I used to compartmentalize by having an airlock, like a full airlock, bridging between two modules. that takes up more space than it needs to. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use the conjoined wall, and then the center of the wall is where the airlock is going to be, and then the airlock is going to actually extend into the room a little bit. I don't know. This has been back in the... This is the last time I really talked about whether it's an avatar or a character or a dude or a toon was like 10 years ago, and I don't know what they call it now. But back when I started doing shit on the internet, it's not going up for some reason. Oh well, figure that out later. Disconnected. All right. We need more air. Or stop there. That's good. There. We're gonna open you. And we're gonna start processing this ox ice, except for a stack. But anyways, back to that conversation. Is like I was playing Guild Wars with folks, Guild Wars 2, and they kept referring to their avatar, which is what I had been calling it, as their toon. I was like, what are you talking about, toon? What is that? And he's like, well, you know, your guy, your dude, the thing on the screen that you're staring at the back of all day. It's like, well, when did people start calling that? It's like, that's just what they called it from World of Warcraft. And I was like, well, okay. Yeah, it's just, I felt really old at the time. Now, granted, I was also 10 years older than everybody in that group because I don't know how it happened, but it did. It's like they were all in their early 20s and I was going into my early 30s. And before you ask, I met them at work. That's all. So the air that you're seeing float up, that's coming from the cowl here. That's the nitrogen that we don't necessarily want right now. In the future, we're going to want nitrogen, but right now we do not. Okay. So, now we want to get our food a little bit sorted. We're just going to plant it. Did I really put it right there? That's me not thinking very much. Whatever. We'll figure it out. These are hydroponics trays. They're the basics of the basics. You could grow stuff outside of hydroponic trays if you have the right devices, but generally you're going to use hydroponic trays. That's what they hand you. We're going to put them... No, we're not going to put them there. Oh, a wrench. 3, 4, 5. And then our grow light. Pretty much go right there. And then we'll move that over. I'm thirsty, apparently. Never heard anyone calling that. Well, I'm like... If I remember right, I'm like a good few years older than you too, Hale. So I don't know what they call it these days. I don't like those being there. That's like right in the walking path. Means more pipes, but I don't care. Put it right there. That'll work. And then I want this absolutely clear because this is where the power spine's gonna run. A few years younger. Never heard anyone call it that. Trends change, man. I didn't... In this instance, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying this is what I remember people calling it. Like, they might call it something completely different now. Open that up. We need heavy cable. I'm gonna run the heavy cable over. We need gold and copper. Damn it. Heavy cable. Run that over. And then we can tap off of the heavy cable temporarily for power in the grow light. There's my phone. That should be on Do Not Disturb, but it's still disturbing me. What's it disturbing me for? This thing is supposed to be on Do Not Disturb at this point, so it doesn't make that noise after a certain period of time. Alright. More of these. Funny you brought up age. I was just thinking, I don't know how. I'm about 40, bud. Oh, I need the data port hooked up too. There we go. And then I want an IC housing. Let's do housing first. Steel. Both of those. There You. All right, now while we've got potatoes. Potatoes obviously inhales carbon dioxide, exhales, pause that, exhales oxygen, toxic gases to his pollutant and volatiles. It uses 0.432 moles per hour. That's in-game hour. Its minimum grow temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. Its max grow temperature is 50. Minimum ideal is 20. Max ideal is 30. Its minimum grow pressure is 25. Max is 200. And then the ideal is 50 and 100. So we need more pressure in here and a lower temperature because it's 37 degrees in here. For this to work properly. So we need another atmospherics kit. So we're going to plop that guy right there. Print that guy. Now we're going to build an air conditioner because we need air conditioning. I need one of those. Atmospherics kit. Needs gold and copper. Gold, copper, gold, copper. Start you. We're going to put the atmospherics over there on that side. I tell Haley's I'm about 40, and he's like, oh my god, you're freaking ancient, and doesn't talk anymore. He's going to unfriend me tonight. I can't be hanging out with that dinosaur. I'll put the atmospherics there. Yeah, that'll work out fine. Alright, so the way this guy works is very similar to the filtration out there. You've got an input, an output, and a waste. So the difference is on the filtration, you can put your waste and your input together and it'll work fine. Ideally, you would actually have a pump right here so that the pressure here is much lower than the pressure over there. It works faster that way. But in the air conditioner side, your waste is where the hot is actually getting dumped into. And then your output is the cold air left over after it's been messed with. Now, unlike the filtration logic, you don't really have to set this guy to stay active or deactive or whatever you want to call it. It's brain not working. My best friend is 38. All right, cool. Glad to know I didn't lose my friend. I was so scared. But you have to have gases for it to dump the heat into. Therein lies a problem. The different gases, and I will demonstrate this. All of the gases, except for one of them, will condense if they get cold enough. Or if pressure is high enough. Oxygen, well, there's it. It's above the line is liquid, below the line is gas. So at different pressures, it's going to be a liquid versus a gas. And then right around 52 Kelvin, it's a solid no matter what. Another example is carbon dioxide. Also, it can be, depending on the pressure, at the same temperature, it can be a liquid or a gas. We don't want that, because if, as said before, if you have liquids in your gas pipe, it breaks. So we can't just use any type of gas. We have to use a gas that's not going to turn into a liquid inside the pipe. Ideal world, we would be using nitrogen. Now it also at different pressures and temperatures will be a liquid or a gas. But as you can see, the pressures are very high and the temperatures are very low. This is atmospheric. At 76 Kelvin, it will be a liquid. So you can turn it into a liquid. It just takes a lot of freaking work. So ideally, we'd be using nitrogen, but we can't use nitrogen right now, which is why I typically don't set atmospherics up until later. But we want to be able to grow potatoes, and it is almost 40 degrees Celsius in here. So we have a little bit in there. That's not really ideal. Let's see, what can we do? Well, we could very easily use oxygen, because pure oxygen will do is the same way. It takes a lot to get oxygen into a liquid as long as we have the pressures high enough. So that's what we're going to do in this instance. We're going to go ahead and get it built because we need to start bringing the temperature in here down. So, where's the heat going to ultimately go? Outside. Duh. Let's also keep in mind, though, that this is a temporary setup. So we're not going to go ham on this. We need some more, like 3 more pipes for outside. 2 more pipes, actually, just for outside. We're going to use radiators. I don't know what I was trying to do there. 1, 2. I have to clean this base up soon. It's getting hard to walk around in there. Now, when using radiators, you run into a problem. If it's a convection radiator, that you would use in atmosphere, you wouldn't normally run into this problem. But where we're at, there is no atmosphere, so we have to use the other kind of radiator. The problem comes in is when the sun is on it. It will actually heat up the contents of the pipe that the radiator is on. Give me the steel. Thank you. We're going to need to make more steel soon. We want 3 of these. Shouldn't need more than 3. There we go. That should be fine. And we're going to use you. We're going to use those to shield it from the sun. That way it won't heat up the pipe. We want the pipe to stay cold. So it'll absorb heat from the air conditioner faster. Passive vent. Right there, that's fine. And then a bunch of pipes. Oops. No. And we're getting hungry again. So we want the input and the output basically looped. And now we got to worry about the power side of things. Come over here so that you're not in the way. Okay, now, final piece. Gonna be this guy. There. We're gonna go grab our pipe utility from here. Yeah, we don't need any more pressure in there. Storage. We're going to take this canister. It's full of oxygen. Plug it in there. See, there we go. We want it. We're going to put it at 25C and hit start. And we'll actually see temperature start to go down. See, look, it's already 34 in here. As you can see, the temperature and pressure differential efficiency is actually not bad. pressure is a little bit wonky, but that's only because the pressure in this pipe and the pressure in that pipe are the same. If we wanted everything the same, like if we wanted a full efficiency on that, we'd probably have a pump here and a pump there. Pump pipe it in, pump pipe it out. Now we are creating the conditions that we want for our potatoes. So let's go ahead and write up our turn off control circuit. So let's go back to potatoes. We'll explain that. Now you'd think, oh, just give it some light. Not how that worked. Not how that works. So, light minutes per day. It needs at least 5 minutes of light per day. Darkness per day. It needs at least 3 minutes 20 seconds per day. Now a day, it's a full night and full day cycle, is 20 minutes long. So for at least 5 of those minutes, it needs to be light, and at least 3 of those minutes, it needs to be dark. But we're going to do something, we're going to do it simple. We're going to have the light on half the time and off the other half of the time. So, we need to pin the grow light, and that's it. That's all we need on that. Start. Yield. We're going to start by this cycle by set move R1 or R0 to 1. Oh, dang it, I hit the wrong button. Move R0 1. So that is putting the number 1 into the register 0. Set light on R0, because you can only save to a device from a register. You can't just tell it to set the... You can't just plug a number in there and it won't work. We're going to sleep 600 seconds. That is 10 minutes. Set move R0 to 0, and then we're going to set light. It's setting the logic type is whether it's on or off to R0, and then we're going to sleep another 600 seconds. That is quick, dirty, simple, and we're going to jump back to the start so it loops infinitely. Confirm. Oh, our light. There we go. There's my chip. We're going to hit export. Take it out. Plug you in. Power you on. Oh. It would help if I plugged it in. Cannot do what I'm telling it to do if it doesn't have power. That error means is because there's no device plugged to pin 0. Grow light. And the light comes on. There we go. It's already 26-ish degrees in here. This guy is kicking butt. There you are. So we're going to start with potatoes because potatoes grow easy. Now the pressure's a little bit low in here. So we're going to raise the pressure a little bit. I would like to get it to 50 psi. or KPA. I think we can do that with one more stack. With that, we're at 57 KPA. Right there. So we are in good condition to plant our potatoes. As soon as we plumb water to it. There we go. They're thriving. Look at that. We've got food growing. We have that almost ended in disaster. We have a way to replenish our oxygen. We've got enough oxygen that will be fine for a while. And we've got water. We've got enough water that will be fine for a while. Assuming I don't forget to eat and drink. We're in a good position now. And hopefully this is our last cereal bar. Except in emergencies. So, water, air, food, atmosphere. If we wanted to, we could take the helmet and suit completely off. As long as we don't mind not being able to see. Which we will square away. I think we actually have the time to do that now. We could actually square that away right now. I want to be able to see and take my suit off. So in order to do that, we need light. Copper. And a little bit of iron. Now, I like to have my lights coming off of the power spine. That's just me personally. I might change my mind about that at a different time, but for the most part, I like having my light coming off of the power spine. Voila. We can take our helmet and suit off. And then our mood can improve because our hygiene is increasing because we're not wearing our suit and a helmet. We can see inside of our base without using our suit's headlamp. And I would say that is a good position to be in. I like it. So now we can start planning. our base expansion. First expansion is going to be another 5x5 room. Because why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5x5 room. That room is where we're going to move our atmospherics to. Because that's just how I roll. That is just how I roll. I honestly don't want to get started on that tonight. I think we're in a good position to actually stop. So, here's the game plan for next week. We're going to start with the foundation. We're going to use this wall as one of the walls, but we're going to extend the frames off of here so that as we move into that, to this next room and the room beyond that, we can we're going to go ahead and get rid of that guy. What was I saying? We're going to extend the spine of the base. That's going to include the power spine. The solar panels have to be sitting on top of a frame. So the middle going in that direction is going to have solar panels. We're going to expand to the left, and we're going to expand to the right. We're just going to do it. We're not going to have the frames going along because we want the solar panels to always have full access to the sun, or else they lose some of their efficiency. So you can put them in rows, but when the sun is at its lowest points, you will only get power from the ones in the front row in relation to the sun. So you get peak power output at the height of noon. If you have them in a line, a single line, you have peak power from the moment the sun actually raises up and is in the panel is able to face it directly, all the way until it can't face it directly anymore. I believe the limit is 15 degrees. So, best practice is to not have solar panels right in front of each other. So the first room we're going to do is we're going to do our atmospherics room. The room that is the center of the base should be where all of our atmosphere comes from. It's just simpler that way. Right side direction, that is going to be our probably our manufacturing room. Straight on is probably going to be hydroponics, because frankly, full access to the sun. Same principle as the solar panels. And then left side is probably going to be living quarters, because eventually I'm going to have a living quarters. Look at that. Turned off after 10 minutes. We're good to go. So with all of that being said, I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. I'm going to go take muscle relaxer because my back is killing me and go to sleep. Y'all have a wonderful evening. We will be back tomorrow night, full crew. Well, maybe not full crew, with some more jump space. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And I don't know what else to say. Good night.